Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Who's ready for a chalk party? Oh, I better change this camera angle or flip this camera angle so that you can read things. There we go. Live in the moment. That's what we're going to do tonight. We are going to live in the moment. I came on just a tad early, so no worries. We're not going to start for a few minutes yet. But I wanted to come on a tad early because I know for some, it takes a few minutes to find the live feed in the group. So I just come in a tad early just to give everybody a chance to really do that without stressing out, right? Because I don't want anybody stressing out. They can't find this. Hey, Jan. So Linda found her way. Hello, Linda. Hello, Jan. I'm going to mark you guys as here because there's 10 of us. Well, 10 of you and me. So 11 of us. And I just want to make sure I mark down who found their way so I know who to check in with later who did not find their way, just in case, because I think there's at least one person who may not make it tonight. So I'm going to mark down roll call. The other thing is I am going to randomly choose from the people who are here now until 7:06. So at 7:06, I'm going to pull a winner, and somebody's going to win another A-size transfer. And if you already have this one, just let me know and we can switch it out for something else. All right, I'm going to get ready to take some names. So I've got Linda. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Erin. Erin says, I'm picking up my girls, but one of them has their permit. So I can be here until I get home. Fantastic, Erin. My son has his permit. He's scheduled to get his license on, he knows the date by heart, of course, August 12th. So he is old enough. He passed driver's ed. He does not need to take the driver's exam, the actual driving exam. When he went through driver's ed, he passed as like exceptional or whatever. He's been driving for it's been a year since he got his permit, and he's been driving that whole time. So he did really well. So they're passing him through the DOT. He just needs to go in and get his picture taken and get his license. So it's a very exciting time. Hi, Julie. I'm so glad you made it, Julie. Gosh, I just saw your request to join the group. So like by the skin of our teeth, we got you in here. So I've got Erin, I've got Julie, I've got Linda, I've got Jan. This is for I'm going to do a door prize drawing at 7:06. That's just like to try to encourage everybody to get here on time so we can start without waiting for everybody. There's Mary. Hello, Miss Mary. So let's see. I'm going to call these names out again before I do the drawing just to make sure I have everybody. Welcome, welcome, everybody. I better get a little basket to put these in, huh? So I can pull a name from the basket kind of thing. Hello, Miss Mary. All right, I'll get a big one. A big bucket with all the names. So I hope you guys are excited. I'm excited. There is so much to share with you. And here's the thing. Like, I want to give you the basics tonight so that you feel really confident making a decision about how much you want to commit to Chalk Couture, like how much of it do you want to do. There's an investment. You know, when you start a new hobby, it's just like anything else. When I started sewing, I'm like, oh, a machine costs how much? And then you got to buy your fabric and you got to buy all your threads, and having a quilted was expensive. And I was like, oh my goodness, hobbies, they aren't always inexpensive, right? So for those of you who are truly beginners, just getting your ears wet with this, I think it's really good to give you all of the basics that you need to know. But there's the fine line. I definitely don't want to overwhelm anybody because there's a lot to learn. It's just like anything else. You can go really deep and learn a lot, or you can skim the surface. I'm going to try to give you the basics. And then through your involvement with the VIP Customer Lounge, you'll continue to learn more as you go with the hobby. If you choose to stick with it, which I hope you do, of course. Erin says, my daughter quilts. I haven't quilted in a long time, but I did love it for a long time. I really, really enjoyed it. Now I love to work with paints and paper. I love paper crafting. I scrapbooked for a while. I guess I've kind of done it all. What do they say? The jack of trades, but the master of none. Is it the jack of all trades, but master of none? I love to try it all. So I think that's fabulous that your daughter quilts. Good, Julie. I'm so glad you're excited. I am too. Linda's excited. Yay. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have fun. We're going to explore our little boards, our chalkboards that we're going to be working on tonight. This is your board and base that everybody got. And it comes with that base that has the groove in it. And your board is reversible and you can position it either way. So whatever way your design you want it to sit, you can do that. And I added with a temporary glue dot, I just added this little butterfly embellishment just to add something different. And of course, your base comes plain, a very farmhousey looking thing. But I added that. I chalked that on with a little embellishment that I had, a transfer that I had. So you can paint the front, you could put a ribbon on the front, you could tie a piece of jute rope with a little bow on the front, like if you wanted to jazz up your little board and base. So it's so fun. There's so many things you can do. Erin says I'm an ES addict, right? Mary can't wait. Good. Well, I'm glad. Let's check the time. 7:05. So one more minute. I'm going to pull names. Let me make sure I have everybody here. I have Mary's name going in the prize bin. Jan's name is going in. Linda's name is going in. Julie's name is going in. If I miss you, you need to let me know. Julie's name, Erin's name is going in the prize basket for the door prize. And I just saw Phyllis say hello. So Phyllis, hello and welcome. Phyllis, your name is going in the prize basket. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody? You almost missed me. It's 7:05. You did good, Phyllis. You did good. All right, let me see. We got Julie here. Erin's here. Phyllis is here. Mary is here. Jan is here. Linda's here. So we're missing Jenna, Megan, Judy, and Janice. A lot of J's, but that's okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people checked off. So that's who I've got so far. So welcome everybody. We'll get started here in just a second. This was a good way to get everybody in place. I saw a little conversation about the spray bottles in the group. Don't fret if you don't have a spray bottle. I have several on hand now because I use them all the time for both painting and for chalking especially. So we'll talk about that, but don't fret if you don't have one. You can make do with what you have. If you have a little like mug of water or a little like a wash bin with a little bit of water in it and a rag, that'll help you too. Okay, let's pull a name. I have nobody here to help me. It's just little old me. My boys all went out. I would sometimes have them help, but I'm just gonna move these around real good. I'm gonna pull a name. Phyllis, you just won a 5x7 transfer. So your name is going on that transfer. That will go to you in the mail. Congratulations. All right, let's get that done, and that's exciting. So I'm glad you won. All right, you guys, if you see me pulling my pants up, these are a pair of pants that will not stay up. So go ahead and laugh at me. But if you keep seeing me like yanking on my britches, it's because they won't stay up. They're a pair of like jean capri pants that the jeans are a little stretchy. So once you've worn them for a little while, they get stretched, and then for goodness sake, they don't stay up on me. So there's that. There's just always that, right? We'll just have some fun and laugh tonight. Okay, I do have a list of things that I want to tell you. You're welcome, Phyllis. The tools that you're going to need tonight. So I gave you a little list. You want your board and base. Yours is not covered yet, or maybe it is. Maybe you've played with it a little bit. Let me get this camera so you can see all of me. The camera stand is giving me trouble. Board and base, you should have 2, 3 or 4 packs of paste, single packs of paste, okay? Those, it just depended on which you chose. You had the option of choosing 2 or more, so I don't know, you're gonna have a couple at least of packs of paste, different colors. You should have your mini squeegee. This is for spreading the paste, and your transfer design. And you had a choice, so I'm not even sure if we have more. I didn't look to see who picked what. I don't know who has what, but I just pulled a few from my stash that I'm going to use as examples for you guys, but you want to have your transfer on hand. I asked you to have a rag, right? One clean one to fuzz your transfer. We'll talk about that in a little while. And one so that you can wipe your hands, or if you have a little spill or a little mess, you can clean it up, okay? The company has a fuzzing cloth. Looks like this, okay? It's pretty big. It has a really nappy side. It has a stronger nap and then a microfiber side. Mine has paste on it, you can see. It does have a little like loop holder on it, and it's cute. It has the little logo. Not, you guys, the camera keeps moving down so you can't see my head. What is wrong with this dang camera stand? I'll keep bending down lower and lower. I'll be like, okay, this is not necessary. It's cute. It is handy that it has two different surface, what do you call it? Like one is really good for drying surface. The other one's really good for fuzzing your transfers, but it's not necessary. Listen, I've been a designer with a company. It'll be 3 years in October, and some of these tools we have not had until recently, like the fuzzing cloth is a recent add. It's cute. It's kind of fun to have all matching stuff, but not necessary. A regular rag will do you just fine. Clorox wipes. Okay, for a while through COVID, I couldn't even get disinfectant wipes. They don't have to be Clorox. They can be disinfectant wipes from anywhere. These are the Walmart brand, great value, but Clorox makes them. Lysol makes them. I'm sure Target probably has a brand. You know, it doesn't matter the brand. But disinfectant wipes help to clean not only my fingers and my surface, but your transfers. They actually work really well on the sticky side of your transfer for cleaning it and reactivating the sticky. If you can't find them, if you don't have them, it has been months. I mean, I was just able to get these. So it has been months since I've had them, and you'll still be able to clean without them. But most of us use these on our transfers as we're cleaning them. We do not use baby wipes. Baby wipes are great for your hands because they're less harsh on your hands. Do not use them on your transfers. You can use them on your squeegees if you want. You can use them on your surface, on your hands, but don't use them on your transfer because most often baby wipes, even if they're the natural kind, which is usually what I get, like the unscented, they still have skin conditioners in them, which would be an oil of some sort, and we don't want to put that on our adhesive. Okay, so that's why we say disinfectant wipes. Okay, that's about it. That's all you need to get started. So I'm actually going to start by showing you how to erase the paste off of your transfer. So the company started in 2017, in July of 2017, with reusable adhesive transfers. Now, the reason they're not called stencils, two-part, one, because they're adhesive, and the other reason is because they aren't a stencil in the fact that they are a silk screen. Stencils, you can put your finger right through the design, right? If you have the letter G, you can stick your finger right through the letter G. With these, you cannot do that. It's a silk screen. So I can't stick my finger through the letters or through whatever the design is, whether it's a flower or a giraffe or whatever it is. Can't do that. It's a silk screen like what people use to make t-shirts and hats and aprons. It's the same type of stencil shape, but we call them transfers. So it is different in that regard. They are adhesive and reusable, so you want to clean them well because the better you take care of them, the longer they're going to last you. The company tells us they should last you between 8 and 12 uses for each transfer. Now, I've had a couple of faulty ones. I'll be totally honest with you. Where I get them, they're really not that sticky when I first get them, and they should be ultra, ultra sticky. They should be extremely sticky. That's why we fuzz them, because they're so sticky. But they're not that sticky, and I use them once, and then after I wash them, they're not sticky at all. If that ever happens to you, then it's broken. Like, it's a bad run. Like, you got a bad one, girls. If that ever happens to you and you're like, man, these are supposed to be reusable and I only got one use out of it, there's something wrong with it, and I want you to get in touch with designers or customer service immediately. They will replace it for you. It has happened. It's infrequent, but it has happened. Usually they'll last you 8 to 12 uses. And honestly, the normal ones that aren't the broken ones, I don't think I've ever worn one out. I will tell you, I have one that I have used so much. I'm going to grab it for you. I've used this one so much. It's old. They don't even have it anymore. It's a retired one. I have used this one, I don't know how many times, a lot. And it's not hugely sticky. Like you can see it's kind of coming off. But it's sticky enough, like I can still hold it and it won't come off the backing, right? So it's not as sticky as it was when I got it, but it's still usable, and I still love this one. It goes really well on these 5x7 boards, so I use it all the time. So especially if it's for you, you guys, you're not gonna have any trouble with them wearing out unless you're like a sign maker and you plan on making 20 signs with the same word on it. Then, yeah, then you might wear it out a lot faster than a hobbyist who's just using it for herself to decorate in her house or make a gift or two. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Mary says that's exactly what I've been looking for. The hello. We have a couple of we have a couple that they've done this about every catalog now, where they have like a trio of triple words, and there's always the welcome, hello. There's one that says welcome, hello, and I'm not putting my fingers on it now. But if you look through the book in the size A's, there's usually 3 different little phrases, and they've been really good about giving us more of those lately. So keep your eye out for that, Miss Mary. Okay, so I'm gonna keep looking at my notes because I don't want to forget anything and I don't want to get off track. I'm going to start by showing you how to erase the paste. The company started with the transfers, reusable adhesive transfers, and chalk paste. And the chalk paste was designed to be erased off of chalkboards, okay? So take these 2 things as an example. This is a chalkboard. You put a chalk on it and you can erase it off. I could use a regular piece of chalk. I could use a chalk marker on here. I could use the chalk paste on here, and I can erase it off. This piece of wood that is porous, meaning it will absorb any liquid that's on top of it, I can use the paste on there. This has been on here for like a year, and it's just fine. I did not top coat it. It sits at my kitchen sink every day. So because this is wood and it's porous, if I try to erase this off of here, it's going to smear and it's going to absorb into the wood as a white smear, okay? Because I use the paste on a surface that will absorb liquid, a porous surface. So we can use the paste on just about anything, but it was created for using on chalkboards so that we can erase it, okay? I will talk about ink later. Ink is another liquid product that we can use on surfaces that's meant to be made permanent on certain kinds of surfaces. We'll talk about that later. Or I can talk about it as I'm erasing too, but I'm gonna erase this design off of this chalkboard. So I'm gonna start by showing you how to erase, okay? This is a lot, there's a lot of chalk here. We got a lot of teal, a lot of yellow, and what the black is, that's just the chalkboard showing through. There's a lot of paste here on this one. You'll see it dries to the touch, but if I rub, it will not smear off, right? Even though it's a chalk product, it's not like chalk like the old day when the teacher would go up to the board and write, and then if her elbow hit it by accident, it would smear the math problem and nobody would be able to follow it. It's not like that. Once it dries, you can't get it off there. In fact, let me put the camera down and I'm gonna show you something. Now I gotta readjust my camera here because I want you to be able to see this. And I'm gonna grab this feed on my Facebook so I can see comments if you guys have them. And you guys, I want you to ask questions at any time. When you have questions, I want you to ask them because it's such a small group of us and I want this to be really personal. I want you to have my total attention and I want to answer your questions. Okay. Oh no, Erin can't hear. I'm gonna just tell her real quick. Go out of Facebook completely and come back in. I'm just gonna tell her that so she can rejoin us. Poor thing. Okay, so a lot of people will say, do I have to seal this with something so it won't scratch off? No, you do not have to seal it. The whole purpose of it being on a chalkboard is that we can erase it and we can redesign over and over again on this board. If you put it on a board like this one, I'm gonna grab one. This is one of our little palette boards. It's a 5x7 palette board. It's a one-time use board. So it's made out of pallet wood. It's a wood product, so it's porous. It's not meant to be erased off of here. because it's a wood surface. So it's the same thing. Like if I keep rubbing, it's still gonna stay in place. If I took something sharp, like if I took my X-Acto knife and I came in here and I scraped, it would come off. I would scrape it off. It's kind of like peeling your nail polish off. It would be messy and it would look awful, but you could scrape it off. But do you have to seal it? You don't have to seal it, girls, unless you think it's gonna get wet and somebody's gonna rub it, okay? Because here's what happens. If the chalk paste gets wet, now this is squeegee. This is, I mean, just a regular bottle of water. This is my old 409 bottle, and I loved the bottle, so I kept it for this, for use in my room, my craft room. I've wet the whole thing, and now the water's dripping off of it. So say this was out in the rain, or it was in your shower, something like that. This is erasable chalk paste. Look how much water I'm putting on it, girls. And still, the design is not smudging. It's not smearing because I haven't touched it. It's still staying in place, even though I put all that water on it, right? So a wood board, like if you wanted to hang this on your front porch or put it somewhere where it might get a little mist or a little rain, I would top coat it because you want it to stay safe and you want it to stay beautiful the way you've created it. But in my home, if I put this in my home, like on my mantelpiece, I don't top coat it because it's not going to get wet and I'm not worried about it smearing off. You can if you want to. If that's your preference, then go for it. This still hasn't come off, right? I have all that water and it still has not come off. Now, I don't want to lose this design on the other side, so I'm flipping that to the dry part of my fuzzing cloth so I can show you. Now, if I took something like I just took my squeegee and I started rubbing it, now do you see what's happening? Do you see what's happening to it? Because it was wet. But if it just got wet and you didn't touch it and you left it alone, it doesn't smear off. So a lot of people ask that question, like, do we have to? Should we be top coating this? On your chalkboard, absolutely not. Don't top coat it because then you ruin your chalkboard. You can't reuse your chalkboard, right? But on regular wood surfaces, I just say it's personal preference. I don't top coat most of mine. If you are gonna top coat it, use a spray top coat. I don't have one close by. Mod Podge makes one. I'm trying to think of all the names of there's just so many. Mod Podge makes one. Rust-Oleum makes one. There's just so many spray adhesives that you, or spray top coats that you could use. You do not want to use a brush on top coat because the top coat is wet, right? So you dip this in a can. My favorite top coat is a brush on top coat by Rust-Oleum. You could also use a sealer like Mod Podge, right? So say you took this Mod Podge and you put it on a paintbrush and you went like this. You've just now wet this. So if I went over it again, it's gonna smear. It's gonna get icky and ugly on you. So we don't use rub-on. We don't use rub-on top coats on paste. You're gonna use always a spray top coat if you are gonna top coat it. Let's get rid of this. Now, for years, we always just used water and a soft paper, like a paper towel, or I love these shop rags for cleaning my stuff because they're really sturdy and they last forever. Since then, the company has come out with board erasers, which are incredibly useful. I was a skeptic and I didn't get them for like 6 months after they came out because I never had them and I was always able to clean my board. So I never, I was like, oh, I don't need those. Now I have them and I love them. Okay. Another tool that's really helpful for cleaning your boards is this scraper. Again, this is new. They just came out with this recently, like 6 months ago. For the longest time, we just did water and a paper towel and it worked fine. It smears a lot because a paper towel just moves the paste around. I absolutely love the scraper because the scraper literally scrapes the paste off. And I put that in the garbage. Like I'll take that and just like get it in the garbage. And then you can come in with your board eraser, and the board eraser gets rid of any shadowing or residual paste. So look at how that just took that up really easily. So instead of it all going into a paper towel, it went onto that scraper, and then I scrape it right into the garbage, and then you can just clean off this little tool. It's so handy. But listen, you guys, again, this is new. They didn't have this for the longest time. You could use an old hotel card, hotel key card, like an old Best Buy card, Walmart, like credit card, that's the kind of thing that it is. It's a scraper. Your Pampered Chef scrapers that you use to clean your pans, that would do it. This matches all the other products. So you're gonna have teal for everything. It matches your fuzzing cloth. So if you really like cute things and you want your stuff to match, it is a really handy tool. I actually use it a lot when I Mod Podge things. I don't like the brayer, but I love this for pushing my scrapbook paper onto Mod Podge. So again, not necessary, but I love having it. Okay, so now I have this, is what's left on my board. Here's where the board eraser comes in. They look like this when they're brand new. I've been using these for like 4 or 5 months, you guys. They get stained. These are all clean. I just cleaned them yesterday, if you can believe it. So they get stained and they get a little misshaped, but they work great. So I'm gonna add a bunch more water on here, and then I'm gonna take the board eraser, and then look at how it just takes that paste right off of there. So I use this, I put it back in my bucket, and then when at the end of the night, I go and I rinse these all out until all the color like stops coming out of it. And then I know that it's clean. But look at how that just makes so much easier to clean up. And now I don't have a paper towel full of paste. Okay, so those tools are there for you. If you get into this and you decide you want them, they're there. Are they necessary? I'm totally honest with you guys. I'm a total open book, and I say no, not necessary, but they are really handy to have, especially if you're doing much bigger projects than this one. Okay, so let's talk for a minute. I'm just gonna break up a little bit the demo with offering you guys some information. Let me just check to see if there are any questions yet about cleaning that paste off. Do you have to use only Chalk Couture surfaces, or can you use other boards? You can use whatever you want. You can use whatever you want. I'm trying to see. This is a piece of scrapbook paper in here. This is a regular piece of scrapbook paper that I chalked on. You can chalk on almost anything. Remember, anything that is porous, it's going to absorb into and it's not going to come off. So people have chalked on their walls, and then you can erase it off, but it may leave smudges on your paint colors. I've never done that. I'm not willing to put it on my walls because I don't want to be repainting my walls if something stays on there. You can do it on metal. You can do it on plastic. It will come off of mirrors and glass because that's non-porous. You can do it on fabrics. And the ink, so I'll just say real quickly, because you're asking, it's a good time to say it then. Let me see if I had a little ink versus paste. Which one should we be using? Ink was made to be permanent because when the paste came out, we were chalking on everything. Our sneakers, our jeans, t-shirts, hats, palette boards. You can chalk on anything. You really can chalk on anything. I'll talk to you in a minute about palette boards. The paste can go on just about anything. But when you put the paste, which is an erasable formula, on a pair of jeans, and then you wash your jeans, it's gonna smear all over the place. So the company created ink, which is a fabric paint. It's basically a fabric paint that you can use with the transfers. It's a thicker consistency. It's thinner than paste, but it's like a thick paint. But it's meant to be permanent. So you can use the ink on fabrics and heat set it with an iron, a hot iron like you would iron, your dress for church. And there are instructions on how to do that. And you can use the ink on ceramics. So things that you can put in the oven to heat set, just like folk art. And I think it's folk art that makes all surface paints. I'm gonna grab one for you to show you. this multi-surface paint. Oh, my book's gonna fall on the floor. I'm gonna save it before it falls. You know, at the top, it shows you that you can do it on a bucket, you can do it on a wood birdhouse, and you can do it on glass. And then you heat set it, right, on the glass by putting it in the oven. The ink does the same exact thing. So ink is made to be permanent on any fabric, ceramics, glassware, things that you might wash, like a mug. You must heat set it with an iron or in the oven. Okay, that's what ink is for. Paste is for everything else. You can use it on wood, metal, plastic, walls, windows, chalkboards, painted surfaces, glass, anything you can think of, the front of a dresser, anything you can think of, you can put paste on. You just have to think ahead of time, do I want to be able to erase this? It is an erasable formula, so you can erase it off of non-porous surfaces, and then other surfaces, it would affect it. Like if I put it on a dresser or on a wood table, it would stay there as long as I want it to. I could top coat it to make it permanent. And then if I ever wanted it off there, I guess I would have to sand the heck out of that table to get through the top coat and to get to the paste to get that design off there, if that makes sense. Okay, so you can chalk on anything. Now let's talk about palette boards because they're so popular right now. Palette boards like, let me find one. Hold on, girls, because I really want you to know all of this information. Palette boards like this one that you can buy. I got this one at a craft store called Crafts Direct in Minnesota. Okay, but you know these palette boards, very, very soft wood. I don't know what the type of wood is that they use for these, but Walmart sells them, Target sells them, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, everybody has these palette boards that you can buy. They are extremely soft and extremely fibrous. So when you use your, I'm gonna see if I left it on my desk. When you use your adhesive transfer on that fibrous board, when you pull it off, what I have found is that the fibers come with it onto your adhesive, and it is really, really difficult to get off. I have stopped using my transfers on palette boards that come from anywhere else but Chalk Couture, because Chalk Couture's boards are extremely smooth. The wood that they've used was created for use with the transfers, and so it's made for that. So I always use the palette boards from Chalk Couture. You can use other ones. I just say beware that when you pull it off, if you don't prep the surface before you put the transfer on there, you might get fibers of wood on the back of your transfer, and it may cause it to not be as sticky. So be very careful about that. Now, the company has wax, and we always say if you're going to be using a wood that's even the Chalk Couture boards that are wood, wax it first, because it will protect your transfer from getting messed up on you. Okay, but yes, you can chalk on anything. You can chalk on anything. Okay, Chalk Couture surfaces, though, I have to say, they're very reasonably priced. Did you guys see this new? They just came out with door tags, and they launched on the 15th of July. They sold out immediately. They're just back in stock yesterday or Friday. So the door tags are fabulous. They're double-sided. It's the same wood that the palette boards are made out of. It's the same wood that our small tags are made out of. But check that out. They are so cool. I'm in love with these. I'm in love with them. And they're only like, I think they're $9.99. They're not, I don't think of them as expensive. I think their boards are very reasonably priced, the one-time use boards. All right, let's get back to doing our project. Okay. So I wanted to keep looking at my notes, make sure I'm not missing anything important to tell you in terms of a like basic how-to. Okay. We talked about erasing, how the paste is meant to be erasable, how the ink is meant to be permanent. So when you're working with ink, I actually find ink easier to work with in general than paste, because paste dries out faster. But you have to be really careful, because if you make an oops, like, oops, I didn't mean to do that, it doesn't come off. Like I did it on I have a hat that I did. I wish I could find it. I don't know where I put it. It was a $5 baseball cap that was really cute that I got from Walmart, and I inked on the front of it and I flubbed it up, and I can't get it off. It won't wash out, and it's all flubbed up. So I'm going to just put a patch over that part of it and try to salvage the hat. But you have to be a little more careful with ink. So I would say work with the paste for a little while. Or if you just want to jump into the ink, that's fine too. It's up to you. Okay, I'm going to do just a basic, and you guys, if you want to start working on yours, you can work alongside with me, or if you want, you can watch for a few minutes, because I'm going to show you a couple of different things that you can do with your paste and your transfer. So I'm going to do a basic paste job. Then I'm going to do a peel. I call it paste and peel with the give thanks. And then I'm going to show you how to blend paste. So I want to show you 3 different things. I'm going to start on this board. This is the same board that you guys have. And then I'm going to move probably over to a different board, just so that I don't have to clean everything over and over again. I'll have to find a different board to use. But let's start with this. Be bold, be brave, be brilliant. Okay, you peel it off its backing. Here's your backing. Here's your transfer. Now your backing has a shiny side and it has a dull side. And I always use a permanent marker, almost always. Sometimes I forget, but I almost always use a permanent marker, and I just put a slash on the dull side before, I usually do it before I peel this off, because they're white on both sides, and sometimes it's kind of hard to see which is the side that you're supposed to put it back on and which is the this is like not waxy paper on this side. This is the no-no side. So don't put it back on this side because it won't come off easily. This is like a wax paper, and I'm trying to grab that shine for you so you can see how glossy it is. You want to put it on the glossy side. So if it helps you, just take a permanent marker, put a little slash on the bad side so that you know when you put it away which side to put it back on. It's extremely sticky. This one has been used about 6 times. They're extremely sticky, so we usually fuzz them first. And all that means is take a clean cloth and put your sticky transfer on the cloth a couple of times and pull it off. You can do it on your shirt. You can do it on your apron. You can do it on a clean rag. Just anything. I wouldn't do it on fleece and I wouldn't do it on wool because those are going to give off too much fuzz. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to add a little fuzz to the adhesive side so it doesn't stick so strongly that when you pull it up off of your board, it stretches on you. We don't want it to stretch. And believe me, they're really sticky when they're new. So fuzz it a couple of times. I usually float it around on the board until you figure out exactly how you want it. On these boards, I'd advise you to go a little high because you have that groove that you need to put your board into. So you don't want to have it so low that your part of your words get covered up by that groove. So just keep in mind that you have to accommodate that little, I think it's like a 1/3 of an inch groove, okay? Now your pastes are in packets. Let me grab one. Let me see if I have one here that I can work with. Hold on, girls. Hang on, I'm gonna grab, I told you to get like a paper plate or wax paper or something that you can work with. We're gonna put our paste on your paper plate. I have a little bit of wax paper here. So let me just, whoops, uh-oh, this on me. I'm gonna put mine on a little bit of wax paper. You can use a craft mat. You can use whatever you're used to using for your paint palette. So what you wanna do is you wanna knead with your fingers, right? We're moving that paste around in there because it's doing 2 things. It's warming it up and it's remixing it. A lot of times when paste sits for a while, the color can separate a little bit from the moisture in the paste. And so you want to remix it up so it's all evenly, the moisture is evenly distributed and the color is evenly distributed. Then you can either cut or tear a hole in the top and squeeze out your paste. Now, you are not going to need this whole packet of paste for your project. You are just not going to need that much. So squeeze out a tiny little bit is what I would say. And mine is feeling really dry, but I'm going to try to squeeze a little bit of it out. If you want, you can use like a anything that you can get in here. You could use a plastic or a regular butter knife, or like my little squeegee fits in if I open it up all the way. And you want to try to, if you're having trouble squeezing the paste out, you can go in and dig it out. Here mine comes. You want to put a little bit on your paper, whatever you decided to use. I'm going to grab a different tool and show you what I mean by dig it out. So I have this little like spatula thing, utility knife. You can go in there and dig some of it out if you want to. You're not going to need a lot unless you plan on doing your whole thing in one color. I'm really struggling to get mine out. There it is. Mine's pretty dry. We kneaded it. We pull it out of here. These are meant to be one-time use, but what I have found is if I use some and I squeeze back down to the bottom, everything that's left, and then I roll this up like this and put a paper clip here, whatever's left, well, I've been able to use it for a couple of weeks. This one is extremely dry. It does not usually look like this when it comes out. If yours looks like this is where the water comes in. It's a water-based product, so you can add water to it to reactivate it, okay? If yours is liquidy, let's look at, this is a brand new jar, and I'm gonna show you the difference. Now look at my rosewood. This is what it should be like. Okay, this is what it should be like. Really easy to move around, kind of like a thick yogurt or a sour cream consistency. This isn't really way too thick, this one. I have a couple of packs of paste that are really dry. I tested almost all of yours. I think one person was getting a paste color that was a little bit dry, and then I gave her 2 packets because I didn't want her to get cheated if it was really dry. So here's what you do if you get a dry paste. You're just going to take your paste, you're going to put a tiny bit of water on your wax paper, on a little dish or wherever you want to use it, a little plate, and see what is happening. I'm just reconstituting it with this little palette knife. You could use your squeegee to do this. You could use like a regular butter knife from your kitchen, but it just needs to be re-wet basically. Now, I want to show you something. I added too much water here. And you know how I know? Because look at how drippy it is. I could use this. I could use it. However, I have a greater chance of bleed through with that kind of drip than I do with this. This doesn't really drip. It just kind of stays on the squeegee. This is the consistency we want. This, you're gonna have bleed through with this, okay? So if this happens with your packet of paste and you have a dry one, you guys shouldn't have any dry ones. Like I said, I tested all of yours. I squeezed them before I sent them off in the mail to you. But if this is happening to you, grab more of your paste. You can always save the paste. You can put it in a little jar with a lid on it so that you can save it into a little Tupperware jar or something like that. But you need it to be thicker than that. So you're going to take some more of it and you're going to rework it. Listen, you should not have to do this though, but I'm telling you, I told you, I'm an open book. Paste is a water-based product made with chalk and it dries out. These pots, this is the first time ever, like last week, my black paste, it's the first time ever I went all the way to the bottom and used a pot of paste, and I've been with Chalkateur. It'll be 3 years in October. I almost never use all of it. This pot of paste will last you forever, especially if it's a color that you don't use that often. Like the black, white, gray, we use more often, so I could see you getting to the bottom of one of those if you're chalking a lot. Mine dry out before I use them up. So we are constantly, you'll see us with our spray bottles of water, adding water to our paste jars and stirring them up because it's a chalk-based product and they get dry. It should never be this dry though. If you get a pot of paste or you get packets of paste that are this dry, it's a broken one, or it's just too old. It's expired and we should get you a new one. Okay, so you always just need to let me know if you buy paste and it comes out really dry out of the packet or out of your jar, we need to get it replaced. It shouldn't come from the company to you that way. Now, I had one woman call me one time and say, my paste is all dry. And I said, okay, just tell me, when did we get that for you? Like, when did you order it? And she ordered it a year before and she hadn't opened it. So it was sitting on her shelf for a year. And then she called me and said, oh, I just opened it and it's dry. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a really old jar of paste. I'm talking about when you first get it, it's brand new. This is what we're looking for. And sometimes they will get dry, and you're going to spritz a little bit of distilled water into your paste. And we use distilled water just to make sure that it's clean and you're not going to get any bacteria growing in your paste. You don't want to add like water from the tap in a jar that maybe had other things exposed to it from your kitchen sink or anything. You don't want to get that in your paste. So I buy a gallon of distilled water and just leave it in my craft room, and that's what I use for my pastes. Okay, so are there any questions about paste packets? What makes CC Paste different from other brands? I only know of IOD as the only other company that I know that makes an erasable paste. Do you know of any others, Mary? And actually, IOD's is not a paste, it's an ink. So it's like a liquid. It's like that blue liquid I was just showing you that drips. That's their consistency. That's the only other erasable medium that I know about. Otherwise, you're using paints like acrylic paints and chalk paint. Chalk paint is not erasable. It's like an acrylic paint. It's meant to be permanent. So if you hear someone say chalk paint, like Waverly chalk paint, or Annie Sloan chalk paint, or mineral paint, like Debbie's DIY mineral paint, or Wise Owl is a mineral paint. Those are paints, P-A-I-N-T-S, and they're meant to be permanent. They are not erasable. Paste is an erasable product. You can erase it off of a mirror, you can erase it off glass, you can erase it off of a really hard plastic, you can erase it off of chalkboards. That's what it was intended to do. Okay, so it's very different than regular paint. Okay, let's see. Checking for other comments. It's a really good question, and it's actually a very common question. Here we go. I know, Julie, those wood tags, I just love them. I love them. She says, I really love that. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I'm going to show you, we're going to show you this. I'm going to just do a regular paste. I'm just going to do one color. I don't normally put my squeegee that far in to the paste pot because I have nowhere to put my fingers now. I'm going to put that one in a bucket of water and just start with a new one so I can work with it. So I'm going to grab a bunch of it, way more than I need, and it doesn't matter what direction you go, but you just need to push it through the transfer and onto the board. You just need to cover the letters. Okay, do you see how thin that is? We don't want that. That you're going to be wasting a lot of paste if it looks like that. You can apply it and then you want to squeegee it off. Apply it, squeegee it off, right? You want a really thin application here. Okay, we want to make sure that all of the letters, all of the parts of the design get colored with whatever color you've chosen, and this one's called Rosewood. But we do not want to cover our words so that we can't see them. That's just too much and you're just wasting it. It's just going to go down the drain and there's just no need for that. Plus, it's harder to clean your transfers when there's that much on there. So you want it to be a very thin application. You can put the extra paste back in your pot. And now I want to talk to you about something really important. You want to pull this up and off of your board before this dries. And you're going to pull two corners and pull evenly. See how I'm doing it this way? You do not want to go corner to corner like this. Your transfers are cut on a bias and they will stretch and they will warp if they stick on your surface really, really strongly. So always take two corners and pull straight. Now, do you see? I'm going to just fold this over on itself for a minute. See how beautiful that is? How clean and neat with no bleed through at all. Because I used a good paste that had a good consistency, and I peeled back my transfer within a minute of applying it. The paste is going to dry really fast inside the transfer. Okay, I'm gonna take a blow dryer to this to speed this up. But I want to make the point of when you're applying your paste, You do not want to apply it and then let it sit in here without pulling up the transfer, because what will happen is the paste will dry and it'll cake up inside the silk screen. And when you peel this back, you'll get a really scratchy application. It won't be as clear. Do you see that D, how it's kind of scratchy? Because the paste stayed inside the silk screen. It really happened down here. You can see it really down here on these two letters. The longer you leave it in there without peeling it up, the more likely you're gonna have where it stays inside the silk screen. So I'm gonna show you. Do you see right here? That's the B that got a little scratched up. See, you have those blobs of pink inside the B. That's because it dried inside the silk screen, because I didn't pull it up quickly enough. And actually I took the dryer to it to make the point that if you don't pull it up while it's still wet, it's gonna dry inside the silk screen and it's not going to transfer onto your board. Does that make sense? No, it still looks fine, but my D isn't nearly as complete with paste as my B and my E on this side, because I pulled it up right away. So with the paste, because it dries quickly, you do want to move quickly. You kind of want to get it done quickly. Okay, that's just one color application. I wanted to show that to you, but I'm going to show you other ways that you can do this, 2 other ways, because I know you guys get really excited about doing some fun stuff. And we're all so creative. So let me put this aside for a minute. And I'm going to grab a new transfer, and I'm going to show you another way that you can do this so that you don't have to worry about being so fast, okay? This is an old board. It's not a lot to clean up. We don't carry this anymore, this board. It's a double-sided circle that we used to have, but I'll use it as my example. I'm going to just clear this off of here. And then I'm going to show you another way to do this. This has been on here for like at least a year. This design. It's been on here for a very long time. Do you see how much effort I have to put in to getting it off? The paste is erasable, but it's not going to just like disappear really quickly. You have to actually put some effort into getting it off. This is why I say it's not necessary really to seal most things. Causing me to use a lot of water. Okay, what I want to talk to you about is when you have a really, really big transfer, we haven't talked about sizes yet, but the transfers come in sizes and they label them by letter. A is the smallest, E is the biggest. Okay, and I will show those to you here in a second. A is the smallest, that's the one we're working with tonight, ladies. That's this one, 5 by 7, that's the smallest. Next size is the B size, 8 by 10. So we went from 5 by 7 to 8 by 10. The next size is C, that's this size here. Okay, that's 12 by 18. The next size after that is D, which is this size, 18 by 18. And then we get to size D. And this one doesn't even have a full design on it. This is 18 by 24. This is the really big one, the D, okay? So when you are working with any size, but especially when you get to the really big ones, if you want to use 2 different colors, I'm going to show you how to do that. If you want to use 2 or more colors. Heck, even if you want to use 1 color on those really big transfers when you're working, and I just told you, you got to go kind of quick because you don't want your paste to dry inside your transfer, right? The method that I use to apply the paste, I call it paste and peel. So say I take this Give Thanks. It's been fuzzed. I've had this for years. I know it doesn't need to be fuzzed again. If I wanted to fuzz it again, you can stick it down. This one's not that sticky. I've had it for a long time. I've used it a bunch of times, so I don't need to fuzz it because it's not brand new. You can if you want to, but I really didn't feel the need to. Now, if I wanted to use 2 different colors, and I'm going to do the pumpkin and the vines all orange, and I'm gonna do the words a different color. So let me just find another color. Let's go with, the colors really don't matter. I just wanna give you an example. Let's use, I have black shimmer. This is the new black shadow, it's called. It's a shimmer. We have more colors than shimmer, and I'm so excited about that. So say I'm gonna use the rosewood, and I'm gonna do the words in black. Okay, I'm gonna do the words in black, but I'm gonna do the rosewood first. I'm gonna do the pumpkin first, and what I want you to think about is you have to kind of go quick. You don't want it to dry inside the silk screen. So what I do is it's called paste and peel. So I'm gonna do the pumpkin first, and I'm gonna paste it. And I'm gonna do these leaves. Now you could do this, you could do the pumpkin orange, you could do the leaves green, you could do the words black, you can do whatever you want. But now when you're it's this small and you have to be this detailed about it, I still have to do all of this and then another color for that. So what I do is I paste and then I peel. I peel this up while it's nice and fresh and wet so that I have a really nice clean design. And then what I want to do is I'm going to take the hairdryer to this to make sure that both the paste on the board and the paste in the transfer are dry. Because when I put this back down to do the rest of it, I don't want it to get smeared at all. I don't want it to get smudged. So I need to dry the paste that I just used. And a hairdryer on cool. We do not need any heat. We do not want to use a heat gun. Remember, this is like a plastic silk screen with an adhesive on the back, and you do not want to heat that up because it'll melt on you. You just want to use a cool setting with a hairdryer to dry that. So I pasted, I peeled it. Now I'm going to put it back down. I'm only going to push on the part that I need to do next, which is the words. I'm going to push that down. I'm not pushing down on the pumpkin that I've done already. I'm just going to push down on the words. Now I'm going to come in with my black, and I'm going to do the words black. We have now new tools. We have I love this tool for this kind of work because it's got a much smaller squeegee for getting in tight spaces. So when you look through the book, if you like the little transfers and you want to do some like really fine detail work like this, where you're going to work with different colors, you might want to get that multi-tool. And now we even have a new one, this one that even has a smaller tip on it. So they've been really good about adding new things to our toolbox for us. All right, so see how I feel like I'm already taking too long. You do have to kind of work quick, but we'll see how it goes here. I will say though, the shimmer pastes don't dry as quickly as the basic colors. Neither does the ink. The ink doesn't dry. You don't have to worry about working real quick with ink. With regular pastes, you do have to go quickly. So we use this paste and peel. So I pasted the black now. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to peel it back, but I'm not going to take it completely off because I don't want to lose my place. I'm just going to peel it back enough so that I can dry this. And then I'll go back in and I'll do that other vine. This is called paste and peel, and we do it so that we can use a variety of colors without having to go too fast. My phone is saying low battery, so I'm going to make sure I plug this in before I even finish what I'm doing because I don't want to lose you guys. So let me get the plug. I think I'm plugged in. Sorry for the delay and for the interruption. There we go. Okay, take cool hairdryer. No heat needed. And we're just going to dry this. Now that it's dry, both on the board and up here, I'm going to place this back down. I'm not pushing on anything other than I'm going to push on the vine that I have yet to do. And I got a little rosewood paste there that I don't need. I want to push on that and make sure I get it placed back down nice and strongly so I don't get any bleed through. Now I'll come back in with my rosewood. You could use whatever color you want. You could come in with a green, yellow, whatever. I'm just using the colors that are close by to me for the sake of time. okay? And you come in and you're just gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna push that paste through the silk screen. Now that I'm completely done with all the design elements, I can peel the whole thing up and let it dry, okay? That's called paste and peel. Now I got a little bit right there, not to worry, because remember it's erasable. Let me just erase that right off. I got a little right here. I'm a messy crafter, you guys. I'm not the neatest crafter in the world, so I've gotten really good at fixing mistakes actually. Okay, so that's how you're gonna do it. If you got one of the transfers that has flower petals on it and you wanna do different colors, just very carefully do what I just did, and we call that paste and peel. So you paste one design element, you peel back your transfer just enough to dry that and the transfer, lay it back down without pushing on it, the design that you just did, push on the part that's going to be pasted next, and then paste it, peel that back, just keep going until you get it all done. This is really handy for the really big ones, you guys, because the really big ones take a lot of paste and there are a lot of design elements on them. You're welcome, Mary. Okay, so that's that one. Now let's talk about blending two different colors, okay? Let me put this one away. I'm gonna pick a different color to do this with because I don't wanna use a shimmer with a basic. I'm gonna use two basics together, two basic colors. So let me grab, actually, I'll grab one that's already open. Let's see. And I want to grab one that's very different than the rosewood that's there. So I'm going to grab almond, which is very light. So it's going to show us a big difference, right? So I have two different colors. If you wanted to do the ombre look that a lot of people are doing, or if you wanted to, like the hot mess, which is like a whole bunch of colors like crammed in together. That's kind of what we call that too. It's a hot mess when you just put a bunch of colors willy-nilly and just see how it turns out. I'm going to show you how to do that next. Because you know what? When you first learn how to do Chalk Couture, it's just super fun. It's just super fun to see how fast and easy these perfect designs are to make. They're fast and easy to make. It's like I can't draw, I can't do hand lettering, but I can still make really pretty gifts or decorations for my house with this really simple system. All right, look I used a paper towel. All the paste came off, but I want to show you something. Can you see the little bit of shadowing right there? The letters still coming through. See a little bit of shadowing right there, you guys? You can see the letters still coming through. This is where the board erasers come in. They are stinking brilliant. I don't know how they work. They kind of remind me of a magic eraser, but they take the shadowing off of the boards. So all the paste was virtually gone, but I still had that shadowing in there. So I come in with the board eraser and a little bit of water, and look, it's all gone. I look at how dirty it is too. Like it's clean, but it's just stained. I'm telling you, I did not get those for the longest time because I'm like, I don't need those. My paper towels work fine. But there is a big difference between having them and not having them, especially with the bleed through problem. Okay, let's take this one, Ready, Aim, Fire. I'm going to show you how to blend. And I'll just do this. I'll try to do this rather quickly because I know you guys, your time is precious and I have a couple other things to tell you about yet. Okay, if you want to blend a couple of colors, this one's kind of new. So I am going to fuzz it a couple of times. After you've used them 5-6 times, they're still sticky, but they're not quite as sticky as when you first get them. So I don't feel like they need to be fuzzed as much. Okay, so if I wanted to make these words like ombre, so I'm going to do the top, the light color, and then the bottom with the darker color, but I want to blend them in the middle. I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to grab another squeegee. Here's my almond. Oh, my almond, see, it's dry. It got dry. That blob in the middle got a little dry. I think I combined 2 jars is what happened. All right, I'm going to take the stuff underneath because that's nice and soft, and I'll deal with that later. I'll add some distilled water to it and mix it. Here's what we're going to do for blending. You're going to add your light color to the top and go ahead, like we want the top to be the color almond, and then halfway through the word aim, we're going to switch to a new color. So I'm going to add my paste all the way through halfway of Aim. And then I'm going to come in with the other pink paste color, this Rosewood. And I'm going to meet them right in the middle there. Okay, I met them in the middle. I have my little dirty bucket of water here. I'm going to dip my finger in the water. Actually, I have blue paste on my finger, so I don't want to add blue to there. I'm going to dip my finger in the water, and then right where the two meet, I'm just going to do little circles to blend the two colors together. Okay, then you pull it up, and you're going to get a blended color. And the less you blend, the more it will look ombre. I blended it pretty heavily, and it's a little word. But if you want, you would just do smaller circles so that half of the word Aim was in almond and half of it was in rosewood. Okay, do you see what I did? I just dipped my finger in water, and I just, on top of the transfer, I blended the two. It's that easy. It's that easy. So you can have fun playing with that with a bigger transfer as you go, but that's basically how you blend, okay? I'm gonna clean this transfer right in front of you to show you how it's done. Spray bottle again. Now listen, I don't know what your workstations are like if you work in your dining room or in your kitchen, or if you have like a dedicated space in your home to do your crafting. I generally, I'll show you here in a second. I can't believe how thick this one got. It's not a problem, you guys. It's just kind of a pain sometimes when they get thick. I always add a spritz of distilled water to my older pots before I put the cover on and put it away, because they're chalk base. It will help too. They're going to dry out a little bit on you naturally, but it will help too if you make sure that the rim of your jar has a really good seal. So make sure you don't have a ton of gunk all over the rim of your jar, so that when you put this on, it seals really tightly and it's airproof, okay? We're gonna clean this quickly. Normally, what I do, I take my dirty transfers, I usually put them on this board, and I take them to my sink in my laundry room, and I run them under the water in the sink. And I use the hose, I turn it on the spray module, and I use the hose, and I use I have another board eraser in there, and I clean it under the water while it's running, and it just all goes down the drain. Super, super easy. Then I take the clean ones, because they're dripping wet now because I put them in the sink. I flip them so that the sticky side is up. I wipe this side with a Clorox wipe, the adhesive side, to get any of the extra fuzz off of it, and then I let it dry. I let it air dry. That's how I usually clean them, okay? I can clean it right here. I'm going to clean this one right here. This one has a lot of paste on it. You can see I didn't do a good job of squeegeeing it off, and it did stick to itself right there. Okay, all I need to do is take my spray bottle, just like my board. I'm going to really give that a good soak. I'm going to take my board eraser, and in little circles, I'm going to come in, and I'm going to wipe off all that color. Now, some of it went through down onto my board, so I want to pick it up, and I want to clean my board off. I usually put it down. This is just the same shop rag. So you can use a shop towel, you can use a rag, a clean rag, you can use a paper towel. Paper towels break up more easily. That's why I like these blue shop towels. But at this point, you can be using your disinfectant wipes. I've kind of gotten out of the habit of using them through COVID, which is probably a good thing for the environment, because I'm not using as many. But once you've got most of the paste off of there, you can come in with your disinfectant wipe, wipe the front, wipe off your surface. Now the back, we want to get any residual paste, and we want to get the fuzz off of there. So I come in on the back and gently rub it down to get any of the extra fuzz. Are you going to get all of it? No, probably not. But you want to get, like, if there are any bits of dry paste or any wet paste still left on the back of it, you want to get that off. I usually clear the bottom, the countertop again, and then I let it sit with the sticky side up, and I let them air dry. I just keep them in my laundry room overnight like that. My kids know not to touch them. My family just knows don't touch them. Sometimes the really big ones, I lay them on the floor because I don't have room on the counters for them. Now, once it's dry, I have a dirty, this is dirty because I put that other one that was dirty on here. So let me clean off my backing sheet first. But once it's dry, I have actually found this to be the easiest way to put the transfer back on the backing. For the longest time, I would pick this up and flip it over and try to put it down. That is really actually harder to do than to leave the transfer where it is and to pick up the backing. I have a piece of dry paste on there. Pick up the backing. Make sure you're putting the glossy side on the sticky, okay? This is the side that should not, you don't want to put your adhesive on that side, remember? So I find it easier to do it this way, to line up the two corners, to leave your transfer on the table and then put your backing on it, and then you can put it away. Okay, you want to wait until they're dry to do this. You do not want to put a wet transfer on its backing because you're just going to get this wet. Nothing's going to work well for you. They dry rather quickly, but you can always take a hairdryer to them if you want to move the process along a little quicker. Or like in workshops, we just stand there and we do this, or we take a blow dryer to it, we hold it in the air and we take a blow dryer to it. You can move that around more quickly, but you just put it right back on its backing and then you can put it away. Okay, do we have any questions yet? What's not, Phyllis says, mine is not doing well. What's not doing well? What part of what's not doing well? Your paste or your transfer or your squeegee? Tell me more, tell me more. I'm gonna talk to you about storage here in a second. I'll wait for Phyllis to answer me. I'm gonna take these ones to my laundry room. I won't even bother cleaning them here. Unless if you guys wanna see me clean another one, I will. And then your squeegees, this is what I do. I put them in this bucket with my paintbrushes, and then they stay kind of wet. And then I take these to the sink, same thing. I just rinse them off, and then you can either dry them off right away, or I let them air dry overnight. And then in the morning, I go collect all my things from the laundry room and put them away. Phyllis, say a little more, dear, about what's not doing well so I can help you, okay? The paste did seem dry, one color. Okay, well, you should have a few colors there. So you can add some water to it. If you have to put it in a little bowl so you can put all of the paste in there, go for it. If you need me to send you another packet, I totally will. But I tested, I checked all of them before I sent them out. So they should be, yeah, the other one went really well. So you can tell the difference between one that's working and one that's not. It should look like the rosewood did. I mean, you could see the difference between the rosewood is perfect. My almond that I opened in September, and it's completely full. I think I combined 2 paste pots together is what happened. So I had an old paste pot that had a little bit left, and I added it to a new paste pot, and that's what this clump right here, I think, is from the old paste pot. I could probably pick the whole darn thing up. Look, that clump I think is from the old paste pot. The stuff underneath it is nice and wet. But that one, that part right there is really dry. So you can reconstitute it by adding a little water and getting it all mixed up inside. The pots are easier to work with than the singles, but when you're just starting out, the pots are $12.99. The pots of basic paste, the shimmers are $17.99. They'll last you forever. Like, look at, I opened this in September. They last forever. You're not going to need to buy. It's an investment. It's like buying buying a quart of paint, and you're going to be crafting with it. Unless you're professionally painting furniture on a regular basis, you're not going to roll through that paint very quickly. It's the same thing with your pots of paste. You're going to have them for a very long time. And the pots are a lot easier to work with because there's more substance there, so it'll stay wet longer than the single packs. But the single packs are a really good go-to for this, for just learning how to use it and taking a 101 class. Jan says, oh my, I'm messy, but it cleans up easily. Listen, I want you guys to just know, give yourself some grace, because it's like anything else. It's like If you want to learn how to like do fondant on a cake, right? You know how to put a basic frosting on cake, but you don't know how to do the fondant frostings, those really fancy, creamy looking, perfect ones that cake makers use to make wedding cakes and stuff. It's an art, and it takes a little while to learn how to get the right consistency to create that kind of frosting, and then to design with it, to roll it out and to design with it. If you want to learn how to quilt, quilting is not as easy as it looks. It's not as easy as it looks. It is really hard to be as precise as quilting, like almost the desire is to be really, really precise and to have very precise straight stitches, and your 1/4 inch has to be a 1/4 inch, not a tish bigger, not a tish smaller, for every single square on your quilt, or it's going to be a little wonky, right? I love wonky quilts because I know they were made with love, and I know it took a lot of labor, a lot of time to make them. Quilting just takes time to learn. This is very easy to use, but it takes a little time to know which is a paste. This is how my paste should be, and this is a little lumpy and clumpy, and I should work on reconstituting that one. Knowing how much paste to put on, knowing how quickly to pull back your transfer so that it doesn't dry out before you pull it back. Those all come with time, so just be patient with yourselves. Don't let your fear of making a mistake take the fun out of it for you. Okay.
I'm gonna take a shower.
Okay. My boys are just coming home. I just want you to have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. And if you're just starting out and you want to get started, I'm going to be giving you guys all a discount tomorrow. I'll post it in the group that I'll be offering you guys all a discount on an order that you place this week. If you want to place an order, you don't have to buy another thing. If you've tried it and you're satisfied with that attempt and you're good with it, then you just do that. If you want to do a little more of it and you want to place an order on my site, I would say for now, stick to the chalkboards until you get a hang of it, okay? There are so many chalkboards, and we have whiteboards that are erasable. This is a white chalkboard. So some of our boards have a white surface, but they're erasable, and many of them have a black surface and they're erasable. So I would say, just to start, if you want to take the stress out of it for yourself, get yourself a basic chalkboard that you can use with your stencils now, or your transfers. You have the 5x7. So this 5x7 is double-sided. You can design both sides. It's going to slip into your base. You can either place it vertically or horizontally. So if you purchased more designs in that size A, you already have your board that you can redesign. And this is the one I keep on my kitchen sink. It sits on the little ledge. There's a window above my kitchen sink, and this is the one that I keep there. And I do get bored, so I like to switch out the design every once in a while. So you already have this one, and then if you wanted to branch out and try some of the bigger ones, you'll see there's just lots and lots to choose from, and I'll help you if you decide that you want to do anything more and you want help choosing. I totally will help you, and I'm an open book. I will tell you exactly, I will make recommendations for you. Can this be used with Mylar stencils? I have never done that, Phyllis. I've never done it. I don't know. I'll be totally honest with you. I always use acrylic paints with my Mylar stencils. I'm an Essential Stencil brand ambassador as well, and I love stenciling. I painted. This is the blue on here is chalk paste, and I did what we did here. I put the paste on a surface, and I added a ton of water to it to make it like a watercolor. And I painted it on the tag, and then I took the dryer to it and I dried it. And you can see it was really wet because I had like drippies. It like looks very abstract. I painted it on with a brush in a really watercolor, like it's a really thinned out. I actually combined two different blues. So I used a paintbrush to apply the blue to this board. Could you use paste with Mylar stencils? I suppose you could try it. I've never done it. I have transfers and I love using them. So I just haven't tried it. I would say give it a whirl. I mean, you could, if it's on a non-porous surface, you'll still be able to erase the paste off of it. We have used the paste as well. Let me see if I can find something. I mean, you could paint a whole surface with the paste if you wanted to, with a brush. You just have to water it down a little so it has a smoother consistency for spreading it, if you know what I mean. Because it's a little, when it comes to you, it's a little thick yet to use as a paint. So I suppose you could. I just never have, Phyllis. I just never have. I have so much acrylic paint that when I use my Mylar stencils, I just grab my paint. Oh, you're welcome, Julie. I hope I'm helpful. What couple of colors would I suggest for beginners? I suppose, Mary, that depends on what you like. If you like true farmhouse, like black and white, if you have a black board, don't get black. It's not, if you chalk anything on a blackboard, it's not going to show. So just get the white and maybe another color that you like a green or a pink or whatever color, you know, you either have in your home or you want to add a pop of color for the season. Like papaya is a really beautiful spicy orange color. So for fall, papaya might be really good. There are lots. When you look at the catalog, there are lots to choose from. And now I do want to point out, so because it can be a little overwhelming when you look at this. Okay, look, you guys. Look at all these colors and options. There's 2 full pages of stuff. I would, the inks are here, and a lot of the colors transfer. Like there's the same colors in pastes as there are in inks. So make sure you're getting pastes if you want to erase it. There are boxes of paste singles that you can get that have one of each of these colors. And that's really nice if you want a few colors to have on hand to use for a season and you just think, I'm not going to use a ton of these colors other than for fall. Then the paste singles might be a really good thing if you want to just have 6 colors on hand right away. And like I said, if you have a good paste packet that isn't too dry on you yet, you can fold this up, push all of your paste back down to the end and fold it up and then put a clip on it. And that should last you a little while, right? I've had one last 2 weeks this way and then open it up and be able to use the rest of it. But this is not meant to be used for the long term. It's meant to be a single use, but you can see that you don't need a whole lot of paste. So I always roll mine back up and see if I can reuse them later. But I would go with the basics. I would go with a basic, like I said, if you're getting a black board, you're not going to need black paste. So unless you plan on using your chalk paste on other surfaces besides your chalkboard, if you're just using your chalkboard, white is a given. It's so classic, so easy. And then maybe pick one other color that you love that would go with your home. Like, do you have a greens in your home or do you have blues in your home? There's like every color you can imagine, it seems, available. So I would just pick 2 and go with 2 to start, and then you can always add more later. I wanted to make sure to say to you, you want to make a welcome sign for your porch, Jana. So I would just say pick the 2 colors that you want to show on your porch, and go with that for now. I wanted to tell you, there are some options for you guys as customers. I wrote down some notes because I don't want to forget anything. I want to tell you too about storage here in a second. So you can go onto my chalk site, and I call it like a la carte shopping. You know, when you go to a restaurant and you say, I want this potato and I want this meat and I want this for my vegetable or my greens, right? And they're all sold individually. That's called a la carte. So you can go to my chalk site and buy any single thing that you want. There are a couple of kits usually available on there, but they're kits like this. You already bought a kit. You may not need to buy another kit. So you can buy a la carte. Make sure that you're in the VIP customer lounge because I offer bundles in the group very frequently. Usually on a monthly basis, I offer bundles. I always have the single packs available as a bundle. I have the basics and I have the shimmers that you can buy as a bundle, and it comes with the squeegee and the stir sticks, so check for that. There are 2 monthly memberships, so if you wanted to get a transfer to your door every month, Club Couture is $19.99. This is the July Club Couture transfer, and it's exclusive, meaning you cannot go into the catalog and buy this transfer. Only club members get it, and it's $19.99 a month. That includes the shipping. You get this, and you get 3 single packs of paste to use with your transfer, okay? I also have a club membership in the VIP Customer Lounge. With that one, you get a size B transfer, but you get a full pot of paste. I don't send out single packs. I send out a full pot of paste, and it comes with about a gazillion perks. Like I give freebies every 3 months. If you stay in the group, you get a free 5x7 from me. You get a squeegee when you sign up. You get a birthday discount. So there's a lot more to that one. There are lots of options for shopping. It's just a matter of you deciding how much of this do you want to be doing. I'm going to give you all a discount. Tomorrow I will post in the group that you can get a discount on an order if you want to place it this week. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I don't miss anything. This month with Club Couture, this is the $19.99 a month kit. It gets sent to your door every month. Every month there's a special just for Club Couture members. This month it's free shipping on anything that you order from the site. You can place as many orders as you want, and it's free shipping. Usually for Club Couture members, it's $4.95 flat shipping for anything that you order. But this month they're giving them free shipping on anything that they order. So I wanted to make sure to mention that to you, because every month they change the special. It's something different, and it's only for club members, people in that $19.99 a month group. Is there a starter kit that we can order to get as a started with more designs and pastes? Okay, great question. If you join Club Couture, there is a Kickstart kit, and it comes with a board, it comes with paste, it comes with a squeegee, it comes with the board erasers, it comes with a bunch of stuff for $69.99. You can only get that starter kit when you enroll in the club, okay? That is the only kit of that size available to customers. The other kit that like super uber Chalk Couture fans who can't get enough, the other kit is those who sign up to be a designer. The $99 kit has over $260 worth of stuff in it, but that's signing up to sell the stuff, right? To do what I do. Now, I'll tell you, 40% of people who are designers do it as hobbyists. They do it because they want the kit and they want 40% off all of their orders, which is the discount that designers get. So there are obligations with that though, and if anybody seriously wants to look at that, I can tell you individually what those are, because it's more involved than the Club Couture. Club Couture is for consumers who want a little bit more than what you're getting in the book. Designership is for like the uber fan who just can't get enough and is going to be spending $70 a month on products. So if you want to be at that really high level, I would absolutely welcome you and help you get onto the team if that's what you wanted. Like I said, 40% of the people who do that are not doing it to sell product. They're doing it just to have the product for themselves. We have a really high number of hobbyists, is what we call. I started out as a hobbyist. I just wanted the discount. So I signed up. And that now it has turned out. I love sharing. I love sharing it. I love how much joy it brings people. And so it has grown to be something I really have enjoyed to share with other people. I'm glad it was helpful. Phyllis says, I'm not sure which one I joined. Phyllis, I think you're in the $19.99 a month program. So you would get free shipping on all of your orders this month. But I'll tell you what, if we want to know for sure, private message me and I'll look it up for sure and make sure that we know which group you're in. I think you're in the Club Couture program, which is the $19.99 a month. And please just forgive me for not knowing like 100% with 100% accuracy, because I have about 70 people enrolled in both of those programs. I got a handful who do both of the programs, both the $19.99 a month and the $27 a month one. And then I have some who do one or the other. So I apologize for not remembering off the top of my head. I'm just sorry. There's a lot. I've got a lot of people in those groups. It's so fun to be able to to have options to give you guys. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about storage really quickly. I do a couple of things. I have a shelf. I'm gonna show you here. I have a shelf in my office or in my craft room. It's a metal shelf that I got from Amazon. So it's metal, and I hang these S hooks on here. You guys, you'll die because I have so many. Oh, I don't need the flag. I don't need the American flag. I just want my transfers. I got so much stuff hanging here, you guys. But this is what I do. I get these black S hooks from Amazon, and I hang my transfers on the black S hooks, and then I hang them to the side of this so that I usually have them organized by size. They're just not organized right now. My favorite way to store them, if you get a collection where you have a lot of them, is to buy these portfolio books. I got these off Amazon too. These are art portfolio books. You can get these at Hobby Lobby. You can get them at Michael's too. Artists use these when they're going to schools to interview to get into an art program, or they're going to sell, try to get into an art gallery. They use these books to showcase their art, but they are just, they have, double-sided pages. It's kind of like using a binder with folders in it. And I just slip my transfers in to each of these. I'll show you. They just slip right in. There's a black divider in each one, and I just slip them in. And this is the A size. You can find portfolio books for every single size transfer. They have them for all of the sizes. They're the right size for my transfers. So I use these, and it's because I have a lot, you guys, I have a lot of transfers. I've been doing this for a long time. I have a lot of transfers. So this is what I find to be the easiest way to store them for the long term, and the easiest way to go flip through them and to find what I'm looking for. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I mentioned to you that if you end up going into this and really enjoying it as a hobby, some of us have gotten really creative with the way that we're storing our stuff. And I would say that the VIP Customer Lounge is the best group to be in, because you're getting everybody's feedback, everybody who does it and who loves it. You're getting all of our feedback about how we store things, asking questions about, can you use the paste with stencils, or what have you used to top coat this kind of wood? It's just a great, just a great general resource for getting questions answered and sharing things and inspiring each other. So please make sure you're in the VIP lounge. Phyllis says, if I can't remember, I don't expect you to. I just didn't want to offend you. I honestly, I think you're in the 1999, but I'm not entirely sure. I have to be honest. Mary says, I'm loving this so much. Yay! Thank you for saying that. She said you're a great instructor. Thank you. I try to be very thorough without boring people. There's so much to share, and there's so much to learn. There's still a lot that you guys can be learning and doing, like this kind of stuff. And where's my little palette board? This, every month, the people who get the Chalk Couture Club Couture transfer, it comes in a special envelope, and the special envelope has this gorgeous floral on it. So I've been cutting it off every time I get my envelope. I cut that floral off of there because I've loved it, and I love to paper collage. So I took one of the boards and I cut the flower out. This was like last month's envelope. I cut the flower out and I Mod Podged it on here. And then I just put the words to go with it. And then I add a little shimmer, a little sparkle to it. So the VIP group, I feel like it's such a great place because we share this kind of stuff in there, and you can learn to really use all of your tools and accessories with Chalk Couture in many, many different ways. It's amazing how creative and smart the women are in that group, and how they're using their stuff in many different ways to be creative and just add pretty things to their home or to give as gifts. So I really encourage you to just be really active and make yourself at home in there. All right, so I'm going to be offering, so tomorrow morning the vault opens. Do you guys know what the vault is? it's like twice a year the company opens the vault. And the vault is, they open up like a shopping opportunity. It's usually 3 to 5 different transfers that have been retired, and people are asking for them to come back. And so they open the vault and they make those retired transfers available just a couple of times a year. And it's different transfers every time. So tomorrow morning, the vault opens and they're making, I think it's 5 different retired transfers available for us to purchase if you hadn't had a chance to buy them before. So I posted the 5. There's a little video showing which 5 transfers they are. I posted that in the VIP customer lounge, so you can check that out. The vault will open tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central. Okay, the company is in Utah, so they open 9 a.m. Mountain Time, which is 10 a.m. Central. That's where I live. So it's 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay, tomorrow morning. Sometimes these things sell out within hours. It's crazy. But sometimes these things sell out within hours. So if you go out and you see which ones are available tomorrow morning and you really have your heart on one of them, just get out there right away when it opens up and snatch yours up, because they sometimes sell out within hours. Erin says, I want the Christmas one. So Erin, I'm going to post a reminder tomorrow morning in the VIP customer lounge, but you make sure you get online and get your order placed right away, because I don't want anybody missing out on something that they really want. Okay. If you have any other questions at any time, I want you to know that you can contact me. If you ask a question in the group, either here or in the VIP lounge, just anywhere on my Facebook business page, if you ask a question and I don't get back to you within 24 hours, if you ask it in a comment, for example, even in a private message, it means I did not see it. I don't intentionally see messages and not answer them. I just don't do that. I answer people when I get a question. Even if I don't have the answer, I'll say to them, I'm not sure. I'll get back to you on this once I find out. I will at least acknowledge you once you ask me a question. So if I have not answered you within 24 hours, it means I did not see it. So please don't be afraid to just send a little message and say, hey, Grace, I'm not sure that you saw the question I asked, because it means I just didn't see it. And I apologize for that if it ever happens to you. I don't ever want anybody to feel neglected or as though I'm not trying to be helpful, because I really, really go out of my way to do the most I can to be helpful. Yes, for my site, I will post in the group, Mary. Thank you for asking that. If you want to go on and get anything, either stuff from the vault or just shop in general, you'll use my chalk site. It's chalkcouture.com/makeitcomfy. That's what I call my site, Make It Comfy. So I will share that link in the group as soon as I'm finished with the live broadcast. I'll hit the finish button. The recording of what we did tonight will be here for you in the group at any time you want to watch it again or you need to see part of it again. But I will then go to my computer and I will post the link for you guys. And I'll let you guys know about the discount and how you can use that too. Yes, Erin, thank you. Yeah, tag me. Facebook doesn't always give me a notification if something pops up in the comments, but if I'm tagged, it will give me a notification. So tagging me is a really good idea, Erin. That's a really good idea. All right, you guys, reach out if you need anything at all. If you need advice, if you have questions, if I said something tonight and 2 days from now you can't remember what I said, you can always go back and rewatch this or just message me or in the VIP group, ask the question. And the ladies in there have, I think there's one man in there, so I don't want to leave him out. He's not terribly active. He's a friend of mine. But the ladies in there are extremely helpful and kind and generous and supportive. So just know that you are really welcome to just make yourself at home there. All right, ladies, thanks for taking the chalk party. I want you to, one last thing. When you're done with your project, even if it's not, if you don't love it, even if it's not perfect, could you share it in the group? Because it is so fun to see everybody's, it's so heartwarming to see everybody's little projects that you're working on. You can do the one tonight and snap a little picture and share it. And then tomorrow when you have more energy and you want to give it another whirl, you could erase that and redo it with a different color from your packet or try a different, like to blend 2 colors, then snap a picture and share that one too. But I would love to see what you guys did on your boards tonight. That would be really inspiring and helpful and heartwarming. You guys have a beautiful, blessed night, and we'll catch up with you pretty quick. I'm going to get on and give you guys that link pretty soon. Take care, guys. Bye.